Hey guys, welcome back to What's New at the Drugstore week day 2. Today we are chatting all about the L'Oreal Enchanted Paradise collection along with their Color Riche Shine lipsticks. I figured I would combine the two, so I'm going to do demos and lip swatches of all the items so that you can see it all in action. If you missed day 1, we were talking all about what's new from Rimmel. They have a new eyeshadow palette, which is a dupe for a very high-end one. They also have some new face palettes and an extension on their Stay Matte liquid lip colors. And coming on Sunday, I'm going to be chatting all about the brand new items from CoverGirl. They have a new matte foundation, eyeshadow palettes, face palettes, lipsticks, all kinds of stuff. And special in this video today, there is going to be a giveaway. You're going to win some of the items that I'm trying on, so let's go ahead and get started. So let's first chat about the eyeshadow palette, which is of course what I'm wearing on my eyes right now. It is the Paradise Enchanted Scented Eyeshadow Palette, or the Enchanting Fruit Scented Eyeshadow. Either way, this is an eyeshadow palette. It has 12 different shades in here, and I believe 6 of them are matte, which I appreciate. 6 matte, 6 more shimmery kind of metallic shades, which I think is a great balance. We expect that from high-end, and we're starting to be able to see that in drugstore palettes, which thank you for the matte shades, first of all. Thank you for the matte browns, and thank you for warm matte browns. I am glad that they are finally listening, and I'm really impressed with this. I think that the mattes are beautiful. I actually did an all matte look with this last night, and it kind of has all the matte shades that I'm looking for. You're getting a matte like white cream, but you're also getting this white peachy cream, which is what I used on my brow bone today. Then you have another kind of peachy shade, which is a little bit lighter than I would like for my skin tone personally. It wouldn't necessarily end up being something I would use on my lid like the one from the Just Peachy Mattes Too Faced palette, but it still is a nice shade. But the browns in here I think are fabulous. So you're getting a great kind of mid-tone brown, you're getting a warmer brown, and then an even warmer brown that has a little bit of almost a maroon in it, but they're blendable, they're beautiful. I use an eyeshadow primer with just about everything, but I think that they are really, really great shadows. They do have a little bit of kick up, but that does not bother me by any means as long as it performs well on my eyes. As for the shimmers, I haven't had as much experience with those, but I am wearing the peachest, most peach one on my eyes right now, and I have played around with some of the other ones, and I think they feel really, really good. If I had to compare this to another eyeshadow palette, just in terms of shades, I feel like this would be probably the most similar to the original Just Peachy palette. Was that what it's called? The original Too Faced Peach palette, but it doesn't seem like to me, unless I'm missing something, that this is a total dupe for something, which I absolutely appreciate. I mentioned that in my previous What's New at the Drugstore video, but I do like to see drugstore palettes or drugstore brands coming up with their own things because they have the money and the budgets and the knowledge to do these things. I do like to see a little bit of a difference because it gets a little bit boring, everybody playing copycat. So glad to see that this is a variation on the numerous warm palettes that are out there. I'll never get sick of warm palettes, I think. So really, really enjoying this, but let's go ahead and hop into the eye look that I'm wearing. So the shades are numbered. So I'm wearing shade number 8. I put that in the crease. It is just the most perfect crease shade, exactly what we've been missing in terms of drugstore eyeshadow palettes for years. And then I went in with the next deepest shade more towards the outer corner. As you can see, they're pigmented, they're blendable, and the 3 browns that are included in here are perfect because they are just different enough. You have a lighter, a medium, and then a more deep, which I think will work on a variety of skin tones. Then I went in with the deepest shade on the outer corner, and as always running all of these on my lower lash line as well. I then used shade number 2 on the brow bone, which I think is just absolutely fabulous for the brow bone. I'm not huge on brow bone highlights because I can find they look really, really unnatural, really stark. They can be too white or too shimmery, but this is just the perfect shade. Really, really buttery matte. And then I had to use the deepest peach shade on my lid. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. A beautiful, beautiful pop, and really complementary to all the other shades that are in there. And because the whole palette is not super bold, I think it'll encourage people to use that kind of shade, which I think is really fun. I love the idea of people stepping outside of their comfort zones. And then on the inner corner, I put some of the kind of mid-tone champagne shade. I would have loved like a warm gold in here. You know me, I'm always asking for warm golds, but I do think this selection of shades is quite nice in here and is quite versatile. So I really did like that on the inner corner. So overall, I have only used this palette a few times, but I gotta say I'm really happy with it. I think the packaging is great. I don't need a mirror. I mean, I could need one, I guess, if I was traveling, but in general, a mirror does not make or break a palette for me. I know it's important to a lot of people, so I figured I would note that. And I also should have mentioned that this collection is actually nectarine scented. When I had seen all of this launch, I had kind of assumed peach, but it's actually nectarine, the peach's less fuzzy friend. So it is quite scented, but like I mentioned, it does not linger around, which to me doesn't really make a difference if it's super scented just in the packaging, and it doesn't bother my eyes or anything like that. So really happy with this palette. I think it's great. I had liked the L'Oreal Le Nude palettes that had launched. I thought they were pretty good, but again, I didn't love the shade selection. So the shade and formula is really, really spot on for me. So super impressed with this. So the actual Paradise Enchanted collection is an extension of the Lash Paradise mascara that launched last year. And I probably should have mentioned, but this collection is launching this week in Canada. If you haven't seen it yet, stay tuned. Drugstore launches, the fact of them showing up in the drugstore is up to that specific drugstore or retailer. So it is going to be probably a little bit staggered, and keep your eyes peeled, side displays, up, down, up high, down low, because it can kind of be a little bit staggered. And if you live in the United States, you can probably buy it online from Ulta. You guys are super lucky. It actually may show up on Amazon.ca as well. I know L'Oreal has been doing a lot to get their products on Amazon.ca, which bless them, I appreciate that to no end. But moving on, they have released some liners in this collection as well. So we have the Luminous Lash Paradise liquid eyeliners. These come in 2 different shades. So you're getting a black, which is what I'm wearing today, along with a rose gold. I chose to use the black today just because I think the rose gold is super pretty, but it's not the kind of thing that I would necessarily reach for. I definitely want to play with it a little bit, but I don't love this style of liner in general. I really like a more pen style of liner. I was able to make this work. It is a bit of a glossy liner, but at the same time, I don't feel like it has as much gloss as I was expecting. I've seen other people use it and it looked really, really glossy, but on me, for whatever reason, it's not as glossy. I just said gloss 4,000 times, but I do think that it is easier to use than I expected. I think the formula seems really nice. The rose gold is really, really pretty. So if you were in the market for that kind of thing, I think it's beautiful, and it is very in line with the whole collection. I am glad that they released it, but for me, it's kind of a personal preference thing, that these are not necessarily what I would gravitate towards first in the collection, but that has nothing to do with the real quality of the product. It's kind of more just my personal preference, and I haven't had that much experience with the liner. This is actually my first time wearing it. So I can't really attest to if it's going to flake or anything like that, but I have had really good experiences with L'Oreal, so if that means anything to you, I don't know if that's helpful, but so far so good. One of my absolute favorite products from L'Oreal is their Voluminous Primer Base. I think it is incredible. I have compared it in a previous video about dupes that were drugstore dupes that are better than their high-end counterparts. I compared that to like a $40 Dior lash primer, and it's not that it's just as good, like it's substantially better. It's incredible. It's so good. It's one of my favorite products, just of any brand, of any price point, of any type of product. It's just an incredible product that I think is super affordable and very, very effective. It adds tons of volume, tons of length, really amps up a not so good mascara, and really enhances a mascara that is already great. So I have been using that for about 2 years straight and obsessed with it. So I was very curious when they released the L'Oreal, obviously, Voluminous Lash Primer. So this is the primer equivalent to their Lash Paradise with mascara, which on a side note, I really do love this mascara. Tons of volume, tons of length, tons of curl. It doesn't flake, doesn't transfer. I think it's really, really great. One of the best drugstore mascaras that's out there in my opinion. But this primer launched, and it says it's conditioning. It has rose oil. It's a millennial pink, and I think it's really good. I tried it in comparison with the original lash primer on each eye to see if it made much of a difference, if I saw a big difference, and then I also tried it just with the mascara. So I've been trying it for the past week or so, and I love it. I think it's amazing. Do I think if you already own the L'Oreal Lash Voluminous Primer that you need to go buy this one? Not necessarily, unless you're excessive. I mean, I love a good lash primer. I think they're both incredible, and this one does have conditioning properties in there like the rose oil, as they stated. It does say it's millennial pink, which it is tinted a little bit, but at the end of the day, you're kind of covering it up with a black mascara anyways. And when I use this, I coat my lashes with it, let it dry for like 15 seconds. Don't let it dry all the way. For me anyways, that's how I've had the best experience. Then follow up with this. So I really like it in combination with the Lash Paradise mascara, and I like it in combination with other mascaras as well. So definitely out of everything that I recommend, no, not a I don't know, it's just so good. I think you should definitely pick up one of the two lash primers, be it the original L'Oreal Voluminous or the Lash Paradise. You'll note that it looks exactly the same as the Lash Paradise mascara, but it just has a pink line there just in case you get confused at the drugstore. And then the mascara, which I've talked about before, is incredible and pairs really nicely with this, and that one has the gold on it. Something else that I wanted to mention about the eyeshadow palette that I kind of skipped on mentioning is just, I said the packaging was great, but I really like the packaging because it's not the typical bulky drugstore that comes with the little brushes. And I mean, perhaps if you are a beginner to makeup, those are appreciated. For me, it is not appreciated, and it makes the packaging bulky, and it's just something else that ends up in the trash. And I feel like the world we live in now, people are becoming more and more educated on makeup brushes, be it high-end or drugstore. There's great options out there like Real Techniques. Elf makes incredible brushes. I actually did on my favorite brush video, which I will link to down below. But yeah, I just appreciate that it's not extra bulk and extra trash, essentially. So the same can be said for these, because these blushes I think are gorgeously packaged as well. I find with the drugstore, it's just so overdone and annoying, at least in my world, to have all of this chunkiness and just unnecessary packaging. So really excited that these look a lot better and don't come with a silly brush, but it is the Paradise Enchanted Scented Blush. So I have two different shades here. I have Bashful and I have Fantastical, and I think these are incredible. Drugstore blushes, they're coming up, we're getting there, but they've always lacked for me in formula, in shade, and in packaging for sure. So really glad to see these. These have the same scent. Yeah, pretty much the same scent, really a lot if you stick your nose in there, but that's not necessary. The shade Bashful is the one I used first. I used them separately on two different cheeks so you could see them in action. This one doesn't have a ton of color when it comes to my skin, but I thought it gave a really beautiful glow. I'm actually, yeah, I'm not wearing a highlighter right now. I'm just wearing the two blushes. So I think this makes a great blush topper, a great blush if you have a lighter skin tone. They have a shimmery finish, but no glitter, no chunks, no particles in there, so they end up looking quite smooth on the skin. And then this blush I just think is so incredibly gorgeous. It is in the shade Fantastical, and it's definitely a more peachy shade, and it's a peachy with like a satiny shimmer in there, but at the same time it's not that typical peachy gold that we've come to expect. It is, but it isn't. It just has a little more depth in there, which I really appreciate and I think is beautiful. Oh, there's a little mirror here. I was about to say that I lied and they had brushes in there, but they had no brush, just a mirror, which is fine, whatever. Just don't give me the brush. So anyways, I think that these are, again, really great. Glad to see the drugstore is stepping up the blush game, because I love drugstore makeup and I love blushes, but a lot of the time that hasn't come to kind of combine. I've always talked great things about Elf blushes, about sleek makeup. Those are my favorite blushes because, again, they have great shades and great, like, concise compacts. But anyways, getting totally off track, really like these. So that is everything from the Paradise Enchanted collection, but I did want to talk about their Color Riche Shine lipsticks. I had mentioned these before, but I never had the full collection, and now I do, so I figured I would tie this in here and do a lip swatch video for them because I do really like them. And I want to mention I don't have my hands on the new L'Oreal Chocolate Matte lipsticks, I think they're called, whatever those are, but I will soon. So let me know if you'd like a dedicated video to those. Do you want them to pop up in another video? And I have been doing a lot of lip swatches on Instagram as well, so let me know what you think. And my other little side note is I would have loved to have seen a lipstick or two or lip gloss or like a beautiful like peachy gold lip topper in the peach collection, because I think it would have just kind of tied everything in nicely together, but that's just me. So anyways, back to the Color Riche Shine lipsticks. These are available on Amazon.ca, which is super exciting. They have been out for a little while, so they're not completely brand new. I actually mentioned this shade Glossy Fawn months ago in a favorites video because I love that. I'm wearing Glossy Fawn right now in combination with Luminous Coral to give me kind of like a nudie peachy thing, and I think that these have a beautiful shine finish, super comfortable on the lips, great finishes. You can kind of blot it on as more of a stain, wear it a little bit more full on. It of course is a shiny lipstick, so it's not going to have crazy wear time, but at the same time it's going to look much juicier and much more plump on your lips, not going to dry them out, easy to reapply, and you'll be glad to know that they do not have that kind of distinct, more florally scent that comes with a lot of L'Oreal lipsticks. They are like slightly sweet, but nothing like I had to like jam it near my nose to be like, what does it smell like? And it doesn't really smell like anything. So that I think is appreciated, and the packaging is also gorgeous. So because I already had some of the lipsticks and then I just had to fill in the blanks, I have, how many left over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 of the L'Oreal Color Riche Shine lipsticks here, so I figured why not give them to you. So I will link to a blog post down below so that you can enter to win these lipsticks for yourself, and all the details will be on my blog. So let's go ahead and jump into the lip swatches, and like in my Monday or Tuesday video, I will put asterisks next to the shades that I really like. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are enjoying what's new at the drugstore week. I really, really appreciate all the support that you're giving me on this, and I'm really excited that you're excited because that makes me extra excited. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, not Snapchat, at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!